English translation, 161st contact, Friday, 12th of February, 1982, 13:20 hours.
I have called you because I would like to have some specific information from you. It concerns my health.
Are you joking?
No.
You usually do not like to talk about these things.
There is probably no other choice left for me. Recently, I had to go to the doctor, and since then, I have to fill up every other day with an injection. Then, in about a week, I must also let radiotherapy with microwaves go through me. And as the doctor says, the whole thing looks bad.
Then he said nothing new. Maybe now you will be more reasonable. However, I will make another diagnosis and treat you.
That might not be appropriate, as 2 doctors spoil the broth. On the other hand, I think that even you cannot do more than my doctor. As he says, the suffering is a sign of wear and tear, thus signs of aging.
Then you have consulted the doctor because of your knees.
Exactly.
Then I must leave the treatment to him. That will surely be the best.
I know. Even you cannot fix wear and tear, not more than relieving the pain and such.
I will still make a diagnosis and apply an appropriate treatment for recovery if it promises success. But for this, I must first make the diagnosis.
You can do this afterward, if it will not take too long.
Then you still have questions?
I have those, yes.
I also have a few things to share with you. In addition, I can perform my investigation on you only in the form that my apparatuses transmit all of the information into the station, after which I can then retrieve it there and work it out. Only then can I give you more detailed information about that. This, however, will still take a few days, as I am otherwise still very busy with urgent tasks.
Very well, then I would now like to ask you about the Book of Names. Is it not possible that you can transmit the introductory information to me sooner than planned?
Unfortunately, that cannot be done, for Electra is too busy with all her duties for her to be able to do that now.
Oh, I thought that you would give me this information.
No, that will be her task.
Basically, it does not matter who transmits this to me. The main thing is that I do not have to put everything together myself.
That is of correctness. What does your next question relate to?
That is it, actually. My main concern was regarding my health, because of the health damage.
Then I come to the word. I have to tell you something about Ferdinand. Unfortunately, it arose with him that his efforts were only initial, but these already left much to be desired very soon. I am still not quite clear to myself as to whether everything intended can still be fulfilled. For as I noted, something arose that will probably doom everything to failure, which we have indeed also feared. In particular, his jealousy seems to let him commit an act that makes that which is intended impossible. Up to now, however, I am still not quite sure about him, which is why I still cannot give any specific information about that in a definitive form. Nevertheless, I will explain the matter to you, so that you can already prepare yourself for it if necessary. But before I can explain further details about this to you, I still have to give my observations and analyses, which still continue until the end of the month. But at any rate, it is certain that Ferdinand does not hold to the rules remitted by me, and that his initial and curious enthusiasm has dwindled away.
How should I understand all that?
I told you nevertheless that I will give you information about that at a later date, once I am sure of my case. But I will already be able to explain something definitively to you next week.
It is all simply Greek to me.
It also was not your task to control the events and actions around Ferdinand. This falls into my area of responsibility. Nevertheless, what should still be said to you is that he has failed to comply with my arrangements, and this can be a sufficient reason for us to discontinue our attempts of a change to the right. Ingrid also contributes all sorts of errors to this, for in various aspects she still leads Ferdinand to act against our determinations by occupying him with tasks that fall within her exclusive work area.
It is all still as clear as mud.
I will give you the relevant and necessary explanations next week. For today, it will only be said to you that you must see to it that Ferdinand still performs a whole night watch this weekend. That is to say that this task should be laid on him because I want to inspect whether he is now willing to do this task. On my side, I have noticed that he is not willingly obliged to this task, and that he keeps himself away from it with excuses at every opportunity. If he now makes such an attempt again, then in this regard I must give him specific and hard requirements, which he must then observe without exception.
You are good, for if I now have to repeat this, then he will simply act in accordance with your words, whereby your inspection goes into the water.
You should not speak of this yet, just arrange it that Ferdinand is called upon for the night watch.
Good, then there is still another question, to do with the building that Ferdinand wants to lease near our Swiss border. I want to drive over there on Sunday with Ferdinand in order to visit the building.
That will not be necessary. He should take the premises and the land in Lehen, whereby he and his family will be housed for the time being. After that, the final solution will result in the course of time. Regarding the cleaning of the estate, I will give the necessary steps in due time, as well as later for the final solution, if that which is intended can still be fulfilled in part.
Man, you have hopes. You seem to have made rather bad findings in the case of Ferdinand and Ingrid.
Unfortunately, yes, and even worse ones, if the rest proves to be true.
Then I see the hopes sinking already.
You must prepare yourself for that. Presumably it is of necessity. We must then simply find a way, as especially Ferdinand can still be helped.
I have thought something like that to myself from the outset, even though Ingrid was constantly of the opinion that he would not be like that. I have always imagined myself capable of knowing and estimating human beings rather well. And unfortunately, my findings were not very good in terms of the fulfillment of this difficult task.
With which you may have drawn truthful conclusions. That is how it looks anyway.
Then cheers. Vindictiveness can bring lots of evil again.
Unfortunately, you must count on it.
That can backfire.
Unfortunately, but let us leave this subject for now. My time is now very limited, and I would still like to diagnose your suffering.
First, one more thing. Since last June, I have all sorts of uncomfortable feelings with respect to the construction of the necessary premises. These have now increased to such an extent that I no longer even come to ask you to clarify whether we can still let ourselves conduct this business.
In regards to this, I will perform a look into the future, in order to get to the bottom of things with certainty. On next Friday, I will tell you the results. But now, to the diagnosis of your suffering.
Then go ahead.